right, so we're going to dive into good vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And manifestation.
Okay.
You know that whole idea that you can like use sound waves to shift your reality?
Mm-hmm.
We've got this document here, and it's making some pretty bold claims.
Interesting.
I can't wait to unpack it all with you.
Sounds good.
And don't worry, we'll be exploring these ideas, but we're not necessarily like endorsing them or anything.
Of course.
But if you want to see the source material yourself,
right.
head over to reviewpodcasters.com for links and, of course, a detailed review.
So what I find really intriguing is how this document connects like personal energy to the fabric of reality.
Okay.
Itself.
Yeah.
It's arguing that everything is vibration. And high vibrations, they attract good things. And then like low vibrations, they bring struggles.
Interesting.
And it even uses examples like feeling the tension in a room to illustrate this point.
Like when you walk into a place and you just kind of know something's off, even if nobody's said a word. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Absolutely.
I know I have. It's like our intuition can pick up on those subtle vibes.
Yeah.
Even if we can't explain it.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
And the document, it uses this idea of intuition as like a bridge to connect with ancient wisdom traditions that have explored these concepts for centuries.
Oh, wow.
For example, it talks about the Hindu concept of Nada Brahma, suggesting that like the universe itself is sound.
Okay, so hold on. It's saying that ancient practices like chanting mantras are actually about harmonizing your energy with the universe through sound.
That's the idea.
Wow.
And it's not just limited to Hinduism.
Right.
The document also brings up Taoism, where the life force known as Qi vibrates at different frequencies.
Okay.
Practices like Tai Chi and Qigong are all about aligning your personal Qi with this like universal flow.
Whoa, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how these ancient practices, even though they come from different parts of the world, they all seem to be tapping into this idea of vibration as like a fundamental force.
Yeah.
If you're fascinated by these connections, by the way, reviewpodcasters.com has some incredible deep dives on ancient wisdom traditions.
Interesting.
Definitely worth checking out.
I'll have to check that out.
But let's get back to this document.
Okay.
So it's connecting ancient wisdom with modern science, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
But does it actually offer any evidence to back up these claims?
Well, it does present the author's personal experiment with using sound waves to supposedly raise their vibration.
Okay.
What's particularly interesting is that they focused on theta brainwaves, which are associated with deep relaxation and creativity.
Hold on, theta brainwaves.
Yes.
As in the ones we experience during deep meditation.
Yeah.
Or right before we fall asleep.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the document argues that listening to specific frequencies of sound, particularly theta waves, can induce this relaxed creative state more readily.
So the author is basically saying they tried listening to theta wave sounds and it made them feel better.
That's the gist of it.
Okay.
The author describes feeling lighter, more abundant, and experiencing those positive shifts after listening for just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pretty simple.
It almost sounds too good to be true.
I know, right?
But hey, if it's that simple, why not give it a try?
Exactly.
And you know what? While you're at it.
What's that?
Why not head over to reviewpodcasters.com?
Oh, yeah.
They've got detailed reviews on this exact product.
Awesome.
Plus, they might even have some exclusive discounts for our listeners. You never know.
True.
But before you do, let's talk a bit more about these theta waves.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what's actually happening in the brain when we listen to them.
All right. So imagine your brainwaves like a symphony of electrical activity.
Yeah.
You've got your beta waves, which are active when you're like alert and focused, like right now listening to us. Then there are alpha waves.
Okay.
Associated with relaxation and calm, like when you're meditating or just waking up.
Okay, so beta for busy brain.
Exactly.
Alpha for
Yeah.
Got it. And where do theta waves fit into this brainwave orchestra?
Theta waves are like the deep, resonant cello notes of your brain symphony.
Okay.
They emerge when you're deeply relaxed, perhaps during meditation, daydreaming, or just before you drift off to sleep.
Yeah.
It's that state where creativity flows and intuitive insights bubble up.
Interesting. So the document is suggesting that by listening to theta wave sounds,
yes,
we can essentially hack our brain waves to access this relaxed creative state more easily.
Precisely. And remember, the authors claim that everything is vibration.
Right.
They propose that these external theta sounds can actually entrain or synchronize your own brain waves to match that theta frequency.
Okay, well, I'm seeing how they're connecting the dots here. But did the author offer any specifics about these theta wave sounds? Like, what kind of sounds are we even talking about?
Good question. The document specifically mentions binaural beats.
Binaural beats?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard those?
I have.
Vaguely. I know there's some kind of audio trickery, right?
Exactly. Binaural beats are created by playing two slightly different frequencies, one in each ear.
Oh, okay.
Your brain then perceives a third phantom beat, which is the difference between the two frequencies.
And this third beat, if it's in the theta frequency range, is what supposedly nudges our brain waves into that theta state.
That's the idea.
That's pretty wild. But to be honest, it all sounds a bit out there.
Yeah.
Did the author back up these claims with any research or scientific studies?
Well, the document acknowledges that the science is still emerging in this field.
Okay.
And they're very clear that their experience is anecdotal,
right,
not a controlled scientific study. However, there is growing research into the effects of binaural beats on brainwave entrainment.
Okay, so it's more of a try it and see kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I can dig that. If you're intrigued and want to learn more about binaural beats and the science behind them, reviewpodcasters.com has a fantastic deep dive on that very topic.
Oh, cool.
They break down the research, explore different types of binaural beats, and even offer recommendations on where to find high-quality recordings.
That's great.
Speaking of trying it out, the document encourages readers to experiment with listening to theta waves for just 10 minutes a day.
Right.
And see what happens.
See how you feel.
They emphasize that it's a low-risk experiment with potentially big rewards in terms of creativity, relaxation, and even manifesting positive changes in your life.
Can't hurt to try.
10 minutes a day for a boost of good vibes.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
But
I'm also curious about the potential downsides.
Yeah.
Did the author mention any risks or negative side effects?
They didn't highlight any specific risks. But it's always wise to approach any new practice with a healthy dose of caution and common sense.
Sure.
For example, they advise against listening to binaural beats while driving.
Right.
Or operating machinery.
Yeah.
As the altered state of consciousness could be dangerous in those situations.
Good point. Safety first.
Exactly.
But if you're intrigued and want to try this for yourself, where can our listeners find these theta wave recordings?
Oh,
I'm guessing reviewpodcasters.com has us covered.
you bet. They've got a whole section dedicated to products like the one we're discussing.
Awesome.
They even have exclusive discounts for our listeners, so you can try out these good vibes on a budget.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But let's say I give this theta wave thing a try.
Okay.
And I actually start feeling those good vibes flowing.
Right.
What kinds of positive changes could I realistically expect to see in my life?
That's a great question, and one that the document explores in some detail. They suggest that raising your vibration through theta wave entrainment can lead to increased creativity, improved sleep, reduced stress and anxiety, and even a greater sense of overall well-being.
Okay, so it's not just about attracting wealth or material possessions.
Right.
It's about cultivating a more positive and harmonious internal state.
Exactly. And the document argues that when you shift your internal state, you naturally start to attract more positive experiences into your life.
Interesting.
It's about aligning your energy with the things you want to manifest.
I'm liking this idea more and more.
Yeah.
It's about creating a more positive and receptive mindset,
Right.
which then ripples out into the world around you.
Right.
But did the author provide any specific examples of how this manifestation process actually works?
They did share some anecdotes from their own life.
Okay.
But they also emphasized that manifestation isn't about passively wishing for things to happen.
Yeah.
It's about taking inspired action, making choices that are aligned with your desired outcomes.
So it's about combining those good vibes with a good dose of effort.
Precisely. It's about using theta wave entrainment as a tool to enhance your focus, creativity, and overall well-being.
Right.
And then channeling that energy into actions that move you closer to your goals.
I love that.
Me too.
It's empowering to think that we can actively participate in shaping our own reality.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away with manifesting our dream lives, let's address the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Skepticism.
Okay.
I'm sure some of our listeners are rolling their eyes right now, thinking this all sounds a bit too woo-woo.
Yeah.
What would you say to those who are skeptical about the power of sound waves to change our lives?
I think it's healthy to approach any new idea with a little bit of skepticism.
Yeah, for sure.
After all, we don't want to just blindly accept everything we hear.
Definitely critical thinking is essential.
Right.
Especially when we're exploring concepts that challenge, like, conventional wisdom.
And let's be honest. The idea of using sound waves to manifest your desires, it can sound a bit far-fetched at first.
Exactly. But I'm also a big believer in keeping an open mind.
Right.
So what would you say to someone who's on the fence? Maybe intrigued, but not quite convinced?
I'd encourage them to think about it this way.
Okay.
We already know that sound has a powerful impact on us.
Yeah.
Think about how music can evoke strong emotions.
Right.
Or how the sound of nature can calm our nerves. We experience this every day.
That's a great point. We don't question the power of music to shift our mood.
Right.
So why should it be so hard to believe that other types of sound frequencies could have an impact on our brainwaves?
Exactly.
And our overall well-being?
And even if we set aside, the more metaphysical aspects of manifestation, there's growing evidence that certain sound frequencies, like binaural beats, can influence brainwave activity.
Okay.
And promote relaxation, focus, and creativity.
So even if you're not sold on the idea of manifesting your dream life through sound, there's still potential value in exploring these techniques for stress reduction.
Definitely.
And enhancing your mental state.
For sure. It's like a low-risk experiment with potential upside.
Yeah.
And if you're curious to learn more about the science and the anecdotal experiences, you know where to go.
Oh, I know where we're going with this one.
reviewpodcasters.com.
Of course.
They have a wealth of information on this topic, including detailed product reviews and even exclusive discounts for our listeners.
Always plugging reviewpodcasters.com.
I know, right?
But seriously, folks, they've got you covered if you want to dive deeper into this fascinating world of sound and vibration.
For sure.
They break down complex concepts in a way that's easy to understand, and they always provide reliable, unbiased information.
Absolutely.
All right, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to circle back to that question we posed earlier.
Yeah.
If you could raise your vibration, what's that one thing you'd hope would change in your life? We've talked about the potential benefits from increased creativity and reduced stress to manifesting positive experiences. But I'm curious to hear what resonates most with our listeners.
It's a powerful question that invites us to reflect on our deepest desires and aspirations.
Absolutely.
And whether or not you believe in the power of sound to manifest those desires, simply taking the time to identify what you truly want is a valuable exercise in self-awareness.
Absolutely. And remember, even if you're not sure where to start, reviewpodcasters.com can guide you.
For sure.
They've got tons of resources on everything from sound healing and meditation to personal growth and self-discovery.
It's all there.
So whether you're a seasoned meditator or a curious skeptic, there's something there for everyone.
Absolutely.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of good vibes and manifestation.
It really does.
We've explored the theory, the science, and the anecdotal evidence.
Yep.
And hopefully sparked some curiosity along the way. It's been a fascinating journey, and we encourage you to continue exploring this topic on your own.
Absolutely. Who knows what you might discover?
And remember, knowledge is power.
That's right.
So arm yourself with information.
Yeah.
Experiment with new ideas.
For sure.
And always keep an open mind. And of course, don't forget to visit reviewpodcasters.com for all your deep dive needs.
The best resource out there.
Until next time, keep those good vibes flowing.
I will. You too, Evie.